The GBI may soon investigate the Georgia peanut plant blamed for the nationwide salmonella outbreak and one of the largest product recalls ever. Good evening, I'm Amanda Davis.
And I'm Russ Spencer. First on Fox 5 tonight, the state's agriculture commissioner is demanding answers about the salmonella outbreak as the recall expands. Officials are now recalling every peanut product made in the Blakely plant since 2007.
The request for an investigation was made today to Governor Perdue.
And it comes as state regulators defend their inspections of the plant. Fox 5's Paul Yates is live at the state capitol tonight with more. Paul?
And Russ, the possibility of federal charges already has been raised as a result of this salmonella outbreak. But now the state could take independent action.
From his office in the Agriculture Building across from the Capitol, Commissioner Tommy Irvin told me he personally delivered a letter to the governor's chief of staff requesting that the GBI conduct a criminal investigation of the South Georgia plant.
Which we would give them all the information that we have. And in the event that U.S. Food and Drug does not prosecute, we would be in a position to bring charges if it deemed to be possible.
In the meantime, the Agriculture Department is defending its inspectors and the reports they produced in recent years. The department conducted 4 inspections of the plant in 2006, 3 in 2007, and 2 inspections last year.
Based on what you've seen so far, are you satisfied with the work state inspectors did at that plant?
I am satisfied with the work our state inspectors have done.
Assistant Commissioner Oscar Garrison said inspections can only provide a glimpse of a plant's day-to-day operations.
We have to remember that the burden to produce safe food products and put those in commerce is on the food manufacturer.
In addition to a GBI investigation, the Agriculture Department also wants state law to be toughened, requiring companies to conduct internal testing and report the results.
Legislative leaders will consider the new requirements and are promising to investigate the state's role in monitoring the plant.
This is a serious matter, one that not only impacts Georgia, but the peanut industry as a whole. And we cannot relax. We can't wait. We have to get to the bottom of it, and the integrity of the industry is at stake here.
If, in fact, the facts show that we need a higher degree of inspection and we need to do that, then I can't imagine the General Assembly would be opposed to that.
Now, within the hour, the governor's office told me it is first asking the GBI to look into the possibility of state laws being broken before deciding whether to proceed with a full-blown state investigation. At the state capitol, Paul Yates, Fox 5 News.
Paul, thanks very much.
A United States congressman has announced the first public hearing on the salmonella outbreak. California Democrat Henry Waxman says the situation at the Georgia plant is alarming and he wants to get to the bottom of it. Among those scheduled to testify, the president of Peanut Corporation of America and representatives from the 2 labs the plant used for testing. Department of Agriculture Commissioner Tommy Irvin will also testify. Peanut Corporation shipped products that initially tested positive for salmonella. After follow-up tests found no traces.
Now, the company says as a precaution, it is widening its recall to include every product made at its Blakely plant over the last 2 years.
The recall includes manufactured peanut butter products like cookies, ice cream, crackers, dog biscuits. Health Watch reporter Beth Galvin is here now. She has more on this ever-growing recall. Beth.
And Amanda, the company says that these newly recalled products have not been linked to cases of people getting sick. But they say they're doing this out of an abundance of caution. The problems federal investigators found at that Blakely company's plant raise a big question. Why didn't Georgia plant inspectors spot those problems earlier? Federal investigators say they found a laundry list of unsanitary conditions inside this Southwest Georgia plant. Issues with how peanut products were stored, cooked, and whether the equipment was properly cleaned. But shouldn't state agriculture inspectors who visited the plant twice in 2008 and cited minor violations have picked up on a bigger problem? One of the country's top food safety experts, the University of Georgia's Mike Doyle, says he's surprised they didn't.
I can't tell for sure what was done because I wasn't there, but the reality of it is some of these things that were identified by FDA were likely problems that were pre-existing that just didn't happen in the last few weeks.
Overnight, the Peanut Corporation of America widened its voluntary recall to include all of its products made after January 1st, 2007. That includes all dry and roasted peanuts, granulated peanuts, peanut meal, peanut paste, and peanut butter made at its Blakely, Georgia facility. In this FDA report, investigators say a dozen times over the last year and a half, the PCA's own test found salmonella in the plant's food products. And each time, the products were retested, cleared, and then sold to customers. In a statement to Fox 5, PCA defended its testing, saying it uses only reputable labs. The company says PCA categorically denies any allegations that the company sought favorable results from any lab in order to ship its products.
So the bottom line is, if salmonella gets into the peanut butter, the game is over. You can't process it away.
PCA says it's cooperating with investigators, but it disagrees with some of the findings. The company also apologized to consumers, saying, "We understand the seriousness of the situation, and we deeply regret that these circumstances are causing distress to our consumers, our customers, and our employees." Federal investigators say they are reviewing the state of Georgia's inspection reports of the plant. The company was not legally obligated under Georgia law to share its positive salmonella test results with state inspectors, and it didn't. Federal investigators only learned of them in the last 3 weeks after they arrived at the plant, and we launched this major investigation into salmonella poisoning.
Yeah, I mean, the company obviously has its responsibilities, but it's hard to imagine how the state could be satisfied, and that's the word we heard the assistant commissioner use, with the inspection process.
Yes, and you know, federal officials cautioned that these inspections are only a snapshot in time. The inspector only sees what's going on at the plant that day. That may play into this because they didn't get the benefit of the whole record of these testing positive for salmonella.
Not like the federal investigators did. All right, Beth, thank you.
Thanks, Beth. We have a complete list of the items recalled in connection with the salmonella outbreak. Just log on to our website. The link is on our homepage.
We are back as promised now, the latest on that massive food recall, the potentially tainted peanut products, all produced by one plant in Georgia, it turns out. There's new information tonight on just how lax things had gotten inside that plant. So bad that it apparently became an accident waiting to happen. Our report from our chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
As the peanut product recall expands, consumers are understandably worried.
I have no idea what's not safe and what is safe.
I mean, with a little kid, it's all about cookies and, you know, cupcakes and, you know, anything, and it's just scary.
And as more details about the Georgia plant emerge, public health experts are outraged. FDA officials say if the company found a product contaminated with salmonella, it simply retested a different portion of it.
They tested until there was a negative sample, at which time they released the product, and that was a serious violation.
FDA itself has not inspected the plant for 8 years. It contracted with the Georgia Department of Agriculture, which inspected the plant 10 times in the past 3 years. Despite that, when FDA officials returned this month, they found lots of salmonella and a mess. According to the FDA report, mold was observed on the ceiling. Rainwater has been leaking into the firm. A sink was used interchangeably as a point for cleaning hands and utensils and washing out mops. There was a slimy black-brown residue on a conveyor belt and a live roach and several dead roaches.
You have to conclude that the inspections done by the Georgia Department of Agriculture were grossly inadequate to the point of raising the question of what role they played in this actual outbreak.
State officials said their inspections could only be, quote, snapshots in time.
I feel very comfortable with the inspections that were conducted by our staff in that facility.
In a statement, the company said, "We are sorry our process fell short, not only of our goals, but more importantly, your expectations." Health experts point out that consumers' expectations should be the government is protecting their food supply. And this latest recall shows how flawed that protection can be. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.